successful with the chase down blocks about, his whole thing?
Oh, well, he's athletic, and he's competitive. So first you got to want to go do it, and then you have to have the ability to go do it. That was a pretty great play last night that he made on that.
Well, what do you kind of see from him in terms of being a floor leader and being a top pick?
Well, one, stay aggressive, right? And then be able to control pace and tempo throughout the course of the game. Feel confident enough to direct older teammates. I think that's a big thing that people overlook. I mean, he's coming in as a young player, and he's going to have to direct other players that are going to be older than him, whether it's a Robert Covington or Joel Embiid or J.J. Redick. So this is a great opportunity for him to practice that with guys like Caleb and Charles Jackson and Larry Drew and some other guys that have experience over it.
When you have a guy of that stature, do you want him to kind of be a little more assertive with the other guys?
Well, I mean, you can't force it yet. You just have to talk to him about it and allow him to be comfortable in his own skin. He's a willing learner. We've been saying that. He's very humble. Our guys gravitate to him because they respect his work ethic and his humility, but he's got to get comfortable doing it, because if you force him to do it and he does it unnaturally, the players usually don't respect it.
What did you think about last night? Did you guys watch tape?
Yeah.
How'd you evaluate
he did exactly what you would think he would do in Summer League. He had some really wow plays. You can see why he's the #1 pick and why we should all be excited. And then you can see some room for growth, areas where he's got to be a little bit stronger, a little bit tighter with the ball. We're mostly pleased with his competitive defensively and his competitiveness defensively. He really got in the mix. He wedged himself in some of those dribble handoffs and created deflections, and he knows that's been a knock on him, so he's out to prove people wrong with that.
Jonah Bolton had some nice defensive plays off the bench last night, 4 block shots. Where do you feel like he's at in terms of getting into his rhythm as a defensive player?
Well, every day that he's played competitively since he's gotten here, you've seen him grow and grow in his assertiveness. And it just happens. You start figuring out language, you start figuring out spacing and rules and where you have to be. And that ties into both offense and defense, as you're alluding to right now. So he's like learning NBA offense and where he's supposed to be and our defensive terminology. And then he just goes and does what he does, which is be an aggressive athlete.
What were some of the other teaching points for the whole team after a game like that?
We talked about it today. We made 3 shots with our toe on the line, so the players are thinking they're shooting a 3 and we're only rewarded a 2. So that's the difference of 3 points in a game. Something so simple as being up 11 with 20 seconds to go in the third quarter and you want it to end, and all of a sudden it's a 5-point swing because of 2 breakdowns we make, and one and then a quick inbounds when you're not turning around and seeing if there's a guy behind you, and you can just walk out of those with some details. It's helpful for these young players.
Kind of a big picture question. How did you guys go about constructing the Summer League roster? I guess how'd you guys decide who and what were you looking for as far as?
Yeah, I would love to answer that. I don't have the answer. I mean, as coaches, the only thing that we decide from a coaching staff is who are some guys from last year's NBA roster that we feel could use an extra summer of growth and development. Outside of that, we leave it to our smart management to decide guys that they want to take a look at for various reasons, and they've done a great job. We've had excellent people come through our summer leagues here, and it makes for an enjoyable experience.
How does Brett handle this time of year with you guys? Just kind of float around, give input here and there?
Yeah, I mean, head coaches don't float around, right? They're always thinking. There's always something going in their mind. I respect the heck out of Brett Brown. I love him. He's been a great mentor. He allows our coaches to grow, not just myself, but these other coaches. Really gives us platforms and bandwidth. So he's letting us grow. So that's #1, because he knows it's reciprocal. It'll come back and help him during the season. He talks to us about things that he wants us to experiment with. And even though they might cause losing in a summer league game, we'll have enough video footage to go back and evaluate some of these things he experiments with. And then he just uses this time, as you can see him out here, walking and touching players and being able to see them in a different light and really dig in on the relational side of their development.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys.